In the beginning, there was silence deeper than oceans and wider than skies. The stars shimmered faintly, as if whispering secrets untold. Above the peak of Olympus, Zeus stood alone in the still night air. His gaze lifted beyond the clouds, far beyond the mortal world below. The heavens stretched endless, painted in silver and soft blue fire. Yet within their beauty, something stirred, something older than eternity. A throne of light, hidden beyond mortal sight, called to him in dreams. It was not a throne of power, nor of conquest, but of mystery. Every spark of starlight carried a murmur, a distant invitation. Zeus listened, heart steady, thunder quiet within his grasp. He felt the pull, not of storm or sky, but of destiny unspoken. What lay beyond Olympus? Beyond the constellations he once named? Was there a seat greater than the throne of gods themselves? He could not answer, yet he could not resist the question's weight. The cosmos was alive, waiting, watching, breathing with ancient rhythm. And so the story begins, not with a battle, but with a journey. The journey of a god seeking truth in realms beyond light and time. Tonight, let us follow Zeus into the vast silence of the stars. For beyond the known heavens rests a secret, the cosmic throne. The night was calm, and the stars drifted like lanterns across the infinite sea of sky. Each one burned with quiet purpose, steady, eternal, and whispering secrets to the dark. Zeus sat upon the highest peak of Olympus, listening not with ears, but with spirit. He was the ruler of thunder, the keeper of storms. Yet tonight the skies were silent. Silence is not emptiness, but a canvas where hidden voices paint their meaning. And so, within that stillness, Zeus heard a murmur carried through the constellations. It was not thunder, not wind, not the echo of any god or mortal tongue. It was older, softer, woven through light itself, a whisper of the stars. At first, he thought it only the play of imagination, a trick of weary thought. But the sound grew clearer, weaving into melody, threading between distant worlds. It spoke without words, yet it called with certainty, beckoning him to listen. The stars formed shapes in the dark, their alignment shifting like living constellations. Patterns emerged, strange and new, never seen in mortal or divine memory. They stretched across the heavens like a message written in fire and silent. Zeus rose, his heart steady, his mind unsettled, his curiosity ignited. Could the stars themselves carry a secret beyond Olympus, beyond even time? He closed his eyes, and in that darkness, visions bloomed like sparks of flame. He saw rivers of light flowing endlessly through cosmic valleys and hidden realms. He saw a throne, radiant and vast, set upon a foundation of infinity. But this was no throne of conquest, no seat for dominion or control. It pulsed with harmony, with balance, as though it breathed the rhythm of creation. The whisper grew stronger, a call that touched both mind and heart together. Zeus had known many voices, the cries of mortals, the counsel of gods, the roar of storms. But never had he known a voice that was everywhere, yet nowhere at once. It came from beyond the horizon, yet it lived inside his own being. He wondered if the whisper was memory, or prophecy, or something else unknown. The night deepened, and the stars grew brighter, as if responding to his wonder. Each one flickered in patterns, carrying the murmur like messengers of ancient truth. And Zeus, though mighty, felt small against the vastness that now unfolded. Still, it was not fear he felt, but a profound invitation into mystery. The throne in his vision called not for rule, but for understanding. It promised not power, but a glimpse of the eternal fabric of existence. The whisper was gentle, yet it pressed upon him with irresistible gravity. And so, seated beneath the endless heavens, Zeus whispered back in silence. He asked no questions, yet he offered his listening, his stillness, his wonder. The stars answered with brightness, their chorus blending into a silent hymn. That hymn carried promise of journeys untraveled and truths yet unseen. Zeus felt the world shift, not with tremor, but with quiet inevitability. Something had begun, a path drawn by starlight, waiting for his first step. The whisper of the stars had become a song, and he could not turn away. Above Olympus, the constellations danced, and the night opened its secret door. Thus began the journey, not with thunder, but with a whisper of infinity. Athena's library was vast, carved from marble and filled with wisdom, older than cities. Scrolls lined the walls like rivers of memory flowing into eternity's silence. Zeus stepped quietly, his footsteps softened by the hush of endless parchment. Here, knowledge was alive, glowing faintly in the dust of ancient air. Athena greeted him, her eyes calm, steady, yet bright with hidden fire. She spoke not with command, but with quiet certainty that stirred his thoughts. "You seek answers," she said, her voice like clear water upon stone. Zeus nodded, for words seemed small before the weight of his visions. The goddess led him deeper, past shelves that curved like spirals of time. In a chamber lit by gentle flame, she unveiled an object unseen. It was not parchment, not stone, but a map woven of light itself. Lines of starlight shimmered, bending and shifting as though alive in her hands. "This," she whispered, "was hidden even from gods, kept for when the sky calls." The map stretched, revealing rivers of brilliance and constellations unnamed. It showed pathways beyond Olympus, corridors of space and time unknown. Zeus reached forth, his fingers brushing the glow, and stars trembled softly. The lines of light bent around him, forming shapes of cosmic roads. Each path pulsed with rhythm, as though echoing his own steady heartbeat. Athena watched, her gaze unbroken, as if testing his silent resolve. She spoke again, her words slower, carrying weight deeper than stone. "The heavens speak, but they do not grant their song to idle hearts. You are called, yet calling demands listening, patience, and surrender." Zeus listened, the thunder within him quiet, subdued beneath her truth. He knew power, command, storms, and the roar of obedience. But this was different, not to be seized, only to be received. The map shifted again, stars gathering into a throne of radiance. It gleamed not with gold or iron, but with light woven from eternity. The throne pulsed gently, as though breathing, as though alive itself. Zeus felt the same whisper return, flowing through the glowing design. It was no longer faint, but alive, humming within his very chest. Athena lifted her hand, and the map folded back into silence. Her eyes lingered on him, both warning and blessing in their depth. "Follow it if you must," she said, "but know the path is not rule. It is not for dominion, but for harmony, a test beyond power." Zeus said nothing, for silence felt truer than words could ever be. Yet within his stillness, he resolved to step onto that hidden road. The library seemed to breathe with him, as though the scrolls approved. Every book, every fragment of wisdom, hummed with faint acknowledgement. The stars themselves waited, their light bending inward toward Olympus. Zeus turned, carrying no scroll, no relic, only the vision within. Athena remained behind, her presence still, her wisdom guarding the chamber. The night outside was vast, the constellations burning brighter than before. Zeus looked upward, and the map seemed already alive in the sky. He felt no fear, only the pull of destiny. Steady, unyielding, unshakable. The heavens had given him a gift, and a question to answer. What is the throne, and why does it call beyond the reach of gods? He would walk the path, not as a ruler, but as a seeker. And in his heart, the stars whispered once more, "The journey has begun." The sky above Olympus opened wider than Zeus had ever seen before. Clouds parted not with storm, but with light, shaped like a hidden doorway. The air shimmered, trembling with energy soft and radiant, unlike thunder's roar. Zeus stepped forward, feeling the pull of the star map still alive within him. Each step carried him higher, though Olympus was already the highest of peaks. The clouds formed an archway, glowing silver, bending as though alive with thought. Beyond it stretched a horizon unfamiliar, a vast sea of calm brilliance. It was not sky, not space, but something between, both and neither at once. Zeus paused, listening to the silence that hummed louder than any storm. The whisper returned, steady now, guiding him to cross the luminous gate. He lifted his hand, touching the arch, and it rippled like gentle water. The surface accepted him, bending around his form, carrying him beyond the clouds. For a moment, the air was weightless, as though even gravity bowed away. He felt not like a ruler, but like a traveler stepping into a dream. On the other side, there was no Olympus, no earth, no horizon. There was only vast expanse, painted in endless colors of shifting light. Stars hung closer here, not distant, but near enough to breathe upon him. They glowed with warmth, singing faintly, each star a note in a quiet song. Zeus drifted forward, though no ground lay beneath his steady feet. The path was unseen, yet he felt guided, each motion woven with certainty. The gate of clouds was behind him now, closing with a whisper of mist. He knew he could not return until the journey had spoken its truth. In the silence, constellations moved, shifting like guardians watching his steps. Their shapes bent and flowed, forming bridges of light across the void. Each one shimmered with ancient memory, as if carrying stories older than gods. Zeus walked upon one, its surface soft yet firm, woven from starfire. It stretched far into brilliance, leading him deeper into the cosmic expanse. The air was gentle, filled with calm, unlike the storms that obeyed his hand. Here, no power commanded, no throne ruled, only harmony carried through silence. Zeus paused again, gazing into the infinity before him, humbled and stilled. He realized the throne he sought was not closer, but everywhere around him. Every star was a fragment of it, every shimmer a breath of its truth. And yet, the whisper urged him forward, deeper, beyond even this first realm. The river of light he had seen in vision began to appear before him. It flowed like liquid brilliance, streaming endlessly into the unknown horizon. The river's current shimmered with colors no mortal eye had ever known. Zeus leaned closer, and it reflected not his face, but his essence. He saw not thunder, not storm, but the quiet core of his being. It pulsed with rhythm, aligned with the stars, connected to the flow of all. The journey had truly begun, not with conquest, but with surrender. Zeus breathed deeply, carrying no thunder, no lightning, only wonder. The gate of clouds had given way to silence, and silence had opened a path. The cosmos awaited, timeless and vast, whispering softly with ancient invitation. And so, with steady heart, Zeus stepped further, leaving Olympus behind forever. The river of light stretched before Zeus, endless, winding through the vastness of eternity. Its surface glowed with shifting hues, each color a melody woven from silence. No water flowed here, but streams of radiant brilliance, alive with hidden rhythm. Zeus gazed upon it, feeling its pulse echo softly within his chest. Every shimmer rose like a breath, every current moved like the turning of time. He stepped closer, and the path beneath him merged with the luminous stream. The river accepted him, carrying his stride with grace, as though welcoming a guest. It did not rush, nor did it linger, but flowed with perfect patience. Each moment on its surface felt eternal, yet light as the flutter of thought. Zeus reached out, his hand grazing the brilliance, and visions unfolded instantly. Stars bloomed within the current, tiny sparks telling stories without voice or tongue. He saw distant worlds spinning in harmony, each one cradled in the river's glow. He saw dreams of mortals, rising like lanterns, finding their way into the flow. The river carried not just stars, but memory, hope, and every unspoken wish. It was a library of light, written without words, eternal yet ever-changing. Zeus walked upon it, his steps gentle, his thunder silenced in reverence. He felt himself less a god and more a listener, a witness to creation. The current shifted, revealing faces formed of brilliance, being shaped from pure song. They drifted along the flow, bowing in silence, guardians of the radiant tide. Their forms glimmered, neither mortal nor divine, but woven of memory itself. One drifted near, its gaze bright, and its presence spoke without sound. "Traveler," it seemed to say, You walk the path that binds all things. Zeus bowed his head, for here, even a god was but a seeker. The guardian's light swirled, then dissolved, returning to the river's gentle current. Zeus breathed deeply, the air alive with harmony, filling him with quiet strength. He understood now that this was no river of distance, but of meaning. Every star within it was connected, every note part of a larger song. The whisper he had followed from Olympus now sang clearly within the current. It guided him, not with command, but with a rhythm of trust and wonder. Zeus looked down, and the river revealed yet another vision of infinity. He saw a throne of light in the far horizon, distant but radiant. It shone not with possession, but with the glow of unity and peace. Its brilliance rippled through the current, linking every star, every dream, every song. The path toward it lay along the river, though vast and unending it seemed. Zeus felt no impatience, for each step was already filled with revelation. He walked further, listening to the hum, the harmony rising like quiet thunder. Not thunder of storm, but thunder of life itself, steady and eternal. He realized the river was alive, breathing, singing, guiding without force. It asked nothing but presence, nothing but openness to its hidden truth. Zeus lifted his eyes, and the stars above shimmered as if in answer. They bent their light into the flow, feeding the current with timeless energy. The river grew brighter, illuminating constellations long hidden from mortal eyes. Zeus walked onward, no longer seeking to control, but to become part of it. The river of light carried him forward, deeper into the heart of the cosmos. And as he journeyed, he whispered softly, a vow carried by the stream. I will listen. I will follow. I will honor the harmony of creation. The current answered with brilliance, swelling in song, a chorus of eternity. Thus the river bore him onward, a traveler embraced by infinite light. The river of light narrowed, guiding Zeus toward a realm wrapped in golden stillness. The current slowed, bending gracefully, and revealed a vast hall beyond stars. It was not built of stone nor sky, but of time itself woven bright. Clocks without hands floated in silence, each ticking in rhythm without a sound. Zeus entered, his steps echoing faintly, though no floor seemed truly there. Before him stood beings of light, tall and radiant, shaped by flowing hours. Their faces glimmered like shifting glass, reflecting both dawn and dusk at once. They were the timekeepers, guardians of past, present, and the endless unfolding future. One approached, its presence steady, its gaze filled with eternal patience. Child of thunder, it spoke without voice. You walk upon the river of becoming. Zeus bowed slightly, for even a god felt humbled within this timeless realm. The being lifted its hand, and visions unfurled across the golden expanse. Moments of history shimmered, cities rising, dreams blooming, stars igniting into life. He saw futures too, fragile and shifting, like threads woven yet unfinished. The timekeeper's light swirled, forming patterns that revealed balance in every turn. Power, it said, is not in command, but in harmony with the flow. To grasp too tightly is to break. To move with time is to endure. Zeus listened, his heart still, his thunder silenced, his spirit open. He remembered storms he once commanded, fierce and loud, but fleeting always. Here, he understood that storms pass, yet time carries their memory forward. The timekeepers moved around him, their forms like spirals of radiant sand. Each one carried fragments of memory, weaving them into the fabric of now. Zeus realized they were not rulers of time, but caretakers of its river. The throne he sought was not above them, but linked to their harmony. The timekeeper guided him toward a mirror formed of pure flowing hours. In it, Zeus saw not his form, but every moment of his being, his birth, his rise, his storms, his doubts, all flickered in gentle succession. He reached out, and the mirror rippled, reminding him time cannot be held. The lesson struck deeply. To lead was not to control, but to align. The throne, he now knew, would demand not dominion, but surrender to harmony. The golden realm hummed softly, every tick of unseen clocks blessing his steps. The timekeeper spoke once more, its tone both warning and gift. The throne awaits, but only those who walk in rhythm may find it. Do not seek to own eternity. Seek instead to become part of it. Zeus bowed, gratitude steady, carrying the truth as if it were light. The timekeepers dissolved slowly, their forms returning to streams of radiant hours. The hall grew quiet again, though silence here was filled with endless meaning. Zeus stepped back upon the river, carrying no relic, only deeper wisdom. The current welcomed him, brighter now, as though approving his quiet surrender. He glanced once more at the realm, knowing its lesson would not fade. Then he moved forward, guided once more into the infinite unfolding of stars. The river sang, louder now, carrying the harmony of time within its flow. Zeus walked onward, not as ruler, but as a seeker of eternal rhythm. And above him, constellations shifted, aligning with the pulse of his heart. The journey deepened, each step revealing the throne was not power, but harmony. The river curved again, carrying Zeus toward a place veiled in shimmering twilight. Here the stars dimmed, and the sky rippled like the surface of a silent dream. The current slowed, as though asking him to move with greater care and stillness. Ahead, a vast garden appeared, its blossoms glowing with colors beyond mortal vision. Every petal shimmered like glass, holding fragments of memory within its luminous veins. Zeus entered quietly, his footsteps soft, the air thick with fragrance of eternity. This was no garden of earth, but a sanctuary of thought and spirit. Each tree held branches woven from dreams, their leaves alive with gentle whispers. He listened, and realized the whispers were voices of countless mortals through time. Songs of longing, prayers of hope, and questions without answers filled the air. Zeus placed his hand upon a trunk, and visions poured into his being. He saw a child gazing at the stars, wondering who listens in the dark. He saw lovers promising forever, their vows rising like sparks into the heavens. He saw wanderers seeking meaning, their footsteps echoing across vast empty lands. All these voices lived here, cared for by unseen hands of gentle keepers. Zeus turned and saw them shapes woven of mist and starlight, tending the blossoms. They moved slowly, gracefully, placing fragments of dreams into the roots of trees. One paused, lifting its gaze toward him, its voice like a soft wind. "Welcome, traveler of storms. You have entered the Garden of Echoes." Zeus bowed, feeling reverence deepen, for here even thunder dared not roar. The being touched a blossom, and it opened to reveal pure light inside. This garden holds every question, every hope mortals cast into the unseen. No word is lost, no dream forgotten. All flow into the cosmic song. Zeus felt the weight of countless voices, yet it did not burden him. It filled him instead with quiet awe, reminding him of his place among them. Once, he had thundered as ruler, distant above their fragile prayers and dreams. Now he felt their voices not as burdens, but as threads binding him closer. The keepers moved with patience, weaving silence into music, sorrow into gentle beauty. Zeus walked deeper, each blossom opening slightly as he passed in quiet respect. He realized the throne he sought was linked to this harmony of voices. Without them, light would dim, time would falter, and creation would lose rhythm. The garden revealed a mirror lake at its center, glowing with endless ripples. Zeus approached, and the lake reflected not his form, but countless mortal faces. They looked at him not with fear, but with hope unspoken, waiting silently. He understood. The throne was not for power, but for service to all. To sit upon it was to carry voices, not commands. Within his heart, the keeper whispered again, "Only those who listen may walk to the throne. Only those who hold silence as sacred may shape the future of stars." Zeus closed his eyes, breathing deeply, letting the whispers settle within him. He vowed then not to forget, not to silence, but to honor them all. The lake shimmered brighter, ripples spreading as though blessing his quiet promise. The blossoms swayed softly, and the garden seemed to hum with gentle approval. Zeus turned back to the river, ready to continue, yet changed once more. The voices did not fade, but traveled with him, alive within his spirit. As he stepped onto the glowing current again, the stars above grew brighter. They seemed to bend closer, listening, as though acknowledging his newfound vow. The journey was not only toward a throne, but into the heart of unity, and with every step forward, Zeus carried the whispers of creation within him. The river of light grew stronger, pulling Zeus toward a horizon lined with radiant peaks. They shimmered like crystal mountains, yet pulsed with energy rather than stone or ice. Each summit blazed like a beacon, guiding the current with a steady cosmic rhythm. As Zeus drew nearer, he felt the ground tremble, not with storm, but with song. The peaks themselves resonated, each one humming with a different tone of eternity. Together, they formed a vast symphony, a chorus of creation, echoing across the stars. Zeus paused, awed, realizing this was no ordinary range, but the choir of origins. Every note rising here was woven into the universe itself, giving life its harmony. He stepped onto the shore, his footsteps blending with the chorus that surrounded him. The mountains glowed brighter, as though acknowledging his presence within their sacred hall. Beings emerged, sculpted from sound, shimmering with rhythm instead of flesh or light. They approached slowly, their voices wordless, yet filled with meaning beyond language. "Traveler," the choir sang as one, "you walk within the music of beginnings." Zeus bowed, his thunder silenced, his heart open to their endless melody. He listened, and within the resonance, he heard the first heartbeat of the cosmos. He heard the stirring of seas, the rise of stars, the laughter of mortals. Every sound that had ever lived was born here, flowing outward like eternal breath. One of the beings extended its hand, pure vibration forming into shimmering shape. It offered no relic, only a single tone, placed gently within Zeus's spirit. The tone vibrated softly, filling him with both strength and humility. It was not power to command, but harmony to carry and to protect. The being whispered without words, "The throne is not silence, but perfect resonance. To sit upon it, you must be attuned to every voice, every note." Zeus closed his eyes, letting the tone echo within him, steady as a star. The peaks around him pulsed brighter, rising and falling in rhythm with his breath. He felt himself not apart from the choir, but part of its vast song. Every summit sang differently, yet together they created unity no single voice could hold. He realized the throne was not a seat above, but a place within harmony. The beings of sound encircled him, their forms dissolving into radiant vibration. They merged with the peaks once more, their song eternal, unending, infinite. Zeus stood still, grateful, letting the resonance flow deeper into his being. The river waited nearby, its current glowing brighter, eager to carry him onward. Before leaving, Zeus placed his hand upon the ground, honoring the symphony. The mountains answered with a final chord, deep and pure, echoing into eternity. It was a blessing, a promise that harmony would guide him to the throne. He stepped back into the current, the tone within him resonating with each stride. The stars above shimmered in rhythm, joining the endless choir of creation. The river carried him forward, brighter now, its current aligned with the cosmic song. Zeus moved onward, not as ruler, but as part of the symphony of life. And somewhere ahead, the throne glowed, waiting not to be owned, but to be joined. The current of light widened, opening into a realm that shimmered like liquid dawn. Colors rippled across the horizon, shifting gently as though painted by unseen hands. Here, the river slowed, its glow soft, inviting Zeus to pause and reflect. He stepped onto the shore and felt the air vibrate with quiet harmony. This was the Vale of Reflection, a place where all journeys revealed their meaning. Mirrors stood tall in countless rows, each one glowing with its own light. They were not of glass or metal, but woven from memory and truth. Zeus approached the first mirror, and it awakened with a breath of brilliance. Within, he saw himself as a young god, fierce, proud, and unyielding. Thunder rolled behind him, storms at his command, power flashing in his eyes. He watched silently, realizing how far he had walked since those untempered days. The image faded, and another mirror called to him with a softer glow. This one showed him guiding mortals offering strength, but distant, unreachable, untouchable. He saw their longing, their awe, and their quiet fear of his storms. Zeus lowered his gaze, understanding their distance was not weakness, but his own. He walked further, each mirror rising like a chapter of his existence. He saw victories, celebrations, laughter, and the warmth of moments forgotten. He saw mistakes, silence, pride, and times when he turned away too soon. Yet none condemned him. Each vision was offered like a teacher, not a judge. The veil whispered softly, "To know the throne, you must know yourself." Zeus stopped at a mirror taller than the rest, glowing with radiant gold. It revealed not his past, nor his storms, but his journey upon the river. He saw himself with the timekeepers, the echoes, the choir of origins. He saw his vows, his reverence, his growing harmony with all creation. And at last, he saw the throne itself, distant, radiant, yet waiting in silence. Its glow was not of conquest, but of unity, of all voices joined as one. Zeus breathed deeply, and the mirrors pulsed, as though blessing his quiet realization. The veil shifted, and the mirrors dissolved, returning to the river's luminous current. But their truths remained within him, woven into the fabric of his being. He now carried not just power, but reflection, not just thunder, but balance. The throne was no longer a mystery, but a path he was ready to walk. The veil whispered one final time, "A throne is not a crown, but a mirror. Sit upon it, and you reflect the harmony you hold within." Zeus bowed, honoring the wisdom, his heart steady, his spirit calm. He stepped once more upon the glowing current, the stars bending closer to listen. The river carried him onward, brighter now, alive with the rhythm of reflection. And Zeus, once a ruler of storms, now walked as a guardian of harmony. Ahead, the light thickened, revealing the next chapter of his cosmic journey. The river grew brighter, carrying Zeus into a realm shaped like a cathedral of stars. Columns of light rose skyward, forming arches that shimmered in endless constellations. The air rang with a hum, a song born from galaxies in motion. Here stood the celestial keepers, guardians of the harmony between realms. They were radiant beings, formed of starlight, their voices like chords of eternity. They welcomed Zeus with warmth, not as a judge, but as a fellow traveler. "Your journey nears its crest," they said, their tones weaving into a choir. Zeus bowed, his thunder subdued, his spirit tuned to the rhythm of truth. The keepers gestured, and the space unfolded into a vast sphere of light. Within it, echoes of universes spun, each one alive, each one a song. Zeus stepped closer, feeling their vibration resonate deep within his chest. The keeper spoke. "A throne is no seat of conquest, but of resonance. It is the center where all voices align, and silence becomes harmony." Zeus closed his eyes, listening, and heard each universe like a note of music. Some sang joyfully, others hummed in sorrow, yet together they formed one melody. He realized the throne was not meant to rule, but to sustain balance. It was a place to hear, to nurture, to carry the weight of harmony. The keepers drew near, their light wrapping him in warmth and serenity. "Will you bear this harmony? Not as power, but as devotion?" they asked. Zeus placed his hand upon his chest, where thunder once roared unchecked. "Yes," he answered softly, his voice steady, clear, and free of pride. The keepers lifted their hands, and the sphere of light descended upon him. It poured through him, filling him not with storms, but with radiant stillness. His heart aligned with galaxies, his breath timed to the pulse of stars. Zeus no longer felt apart from the cosmos, he was woven into its song. The cathedral of stars glowed brighter, as if the universe itself rejoiced. The keepers bowed, acknowledging his vow, their forms dissolving into the constellations. Only their chorus remained, echoing gently, guiding him toward his final step. The river reappeared, glowing stronger now, shimmering like liquid eternity. Zeus stepped onto its current, no longer with uncertainty, but with quiet resolve. His reflection in the river was no longer thunderous, but radiant and calm. The stars bent lower, as if leaning close to hear his steady heart. He carried not only power, but remembrance, reflection, and harmony within. Ahead, the throne awaited, not as a prize, but as a final embrace. The river carried him toward its light, steady as the breath of creation. And Zeus, no longer a storm alone, prepared to meet the silence beyond. The river widened, opening into a boundless horizon where light itself took form. There, in the heart of eternity, rose the cosmic throne, radiant, yet silent. It was not built of stone or gold, but of woven starlight and pure harmony. Its glow pulsed gently, like the heartbeat of the universe, steady and calm. Zeus stood before it, no longer the storm-bearer, but the traveler of truth. The throne did not demand reverence, nor did it command fear. It simply waited, reflecting all that was carried in the soul before it. Zeus stepped forward, each movement echoing softly across the infinite expanse. The stars leaned close, the galaxies stilled, the cosmos listening in quiet awe. He reached the throne and placed his hand upon its glowing surface. It pulsed warmly, not rejecting him, but welcoming him as part of itself. "Sit, if your heart is ready," whispered the silence that filled the cosmos. Zeus lowered himself gently, his presence merging with the seat of harmony. The moment he touched it, the throne bloomed with radiant light. Not blinding, not thunderous, but a chorus of calm woven into brilliance. Every universe sang through him, each star adding a note to the melody. He did not command them, they simply resonated in harmony with his being. The cosmic throne reflected him not as a ruler, but as a mirror. It showed a God who had walked storms in silence, pride in humility. It showed a spirit that had learned to listen, to carry, to unite. Zeus felt the vastness, yet he was not burdened, for the harmony carried him too. His thunder no longer roared alone, it became a rhythm within the greater song. The throne whispered, "This is not an end, but a beginning of balance. Here you are not master of creation, but its guardian and keeper." Zeus closed his eyes, letting the melody of eternity flow through him. He felt the laughter of stars, the sighs of planets, the quiet dreams of mortals. All voices were present, none greater, none lesser, all woven as one. The throne pulsed again, and the river dissolved, leaving only pure radiance. Zeus realized there was no need to move, for he was now everywhere. The cosmic throne was not a place, but a state of harmony, eternal. Zeus smiled softly, his heart no longer storm-tossed, but steady as the cosmos. The silence was no longer empty, it was alive, filled with unending resonance. He had sought the throne, but in truth, he had sought himself. Now both were one, bound forever in the balance of creation. The stars returned to their song, not of conquest, but of gentle celebration. The galaxies spun again, their dance aligned to the throne's eternal rhythm. Zeus had become not a king of power, but a guardian of harmony. And so, the story of storms became a story of stillness, light, and unity. The cosmic throne glowed, eternal, carrying his vow into the fabric of all. And the cosmos, vast and unending, breathed in perfect, timeless harmony.